What up? It's your boy Wall Street back again. And today I want to talk about a draft prospect for the 2025 NBA draft. This is one of my favorite players entering the draft just because of how versatile and just unique his play style is. Danny Wolf, who, unfortunately was just eliminated along with his team, the Michigan Wolverines, by Auburn in the Sweet 16 of NCAA March Madness. They fell to Auburn 65-78 last night. But Danny Wolf had an incredible season. And this was Danny Wolf's first year at Michigan. And before that, he was at Yale University. So smart dude, apparently. But he was originally born in Illinois, Glencoe, Illinois. He's 7 feet tall, 250 pounds, plays the 4 and the 5. And he just reminds me a lot of Nikola Jokic in a certain way. But it's like a mix between Nikola Jokic and like Kyle Anderson. Because this dude's ball handling skills are off the charts for a guy that's of his size. Because I've never, sure, there's plenty of 7-footers in the league that can handle the ball pretty well. Like Kevin Durant is one of them, right? But Danny Wolf, is built like a center. Like he is, like I said, 250 pounds. And this guy has the ball on a string. Like, it is insane how well he handles the ball for how big he is and how quickly he moves with the ball. So that's a big upside. There's not many guys in the NBA right now that have that type of skill for his, player type in terms of how he's built, right? And he's also he's a very well-rounded player. He averaged 13.2 points per game this season. He shot 33.6% from three, pulled down nearly 10 boards a game, 9.7 rebounds per game, 3.6 assists, 1.4 blocks, and 0.7 steals. So he had a slightly better year from the free throw line last year. He shot over 70% from the free throw line last year, only shot 59.4% from the free throw line this year. And his scoring was a smidge down compared to last year, averaged 14.1 points per game last year and 13.2 this season. But you have to remember that, he switched from, Yale University to the University of Michigan, which are very different basketball programs, right? So, and for him to basically translate it pretty similarly, not really have a loss in production, I think that's, impressive in and of itself, right? Like you would have thought, okay, this dude transferred from Yale. Maybe he's not going to put up 10 plus points. Maybe he's not going to put up, roughly 10 boards a game. But he did it, right? He really did not have much of a fall off in terms of production. Basically played the same amount of minutes, played slightly less minutes this season, just a smidge, played 30.8 last season, played 30.5 this season. And he shot a better field goal percentage, shot 49.7% from the field this year compared to 47.2% the year prior. And the jump from his freshman season at Yale to his sophomore season at Yale is crazy. He was averaging less than 3 points per game in his freshman season, and that jumped up to 14.1 the season after that. So very impressive in my opinion. I think this guy is going to have a really bright NBA future. He's going to be, I think, 20. He's 20 right now. He's going to be 21 by the time the draft comes around. And I think that's really the only thing holding him back, right? Like I've said this many times that NBA scouts and GMs are so afraid that if they pick a guy that's 21 years old, he's just not going to have as long of a career and he's not going to be able to have as impactful as a career. And sure, maybe he'll lose a couple years off the end of his career because he's not 18 or 19 coming into the league. But I think it has no bearing whatsoever on how good a player is going to be. I actually think a lot of guys that are in college longer have a better chance to succeed in the NBA. They just don't get that chance because teams move on from players so quickly nowadays. But I think this is a guy that regardless if he's 21 or 25, you have to pick him, right? I do think he'll probably go in the first round. Tankathon has him as number 22 overall on their big board. And they also have him they have him going 22nd overall, so the 22nd pick of the first round, to the Indiana Pacers in their mock draft. I am hoping and praying that he falls to the Wizards' later first round pick. Right now, that's projected to be the 24th overall pick. That's a pick that we have from Memphis, and that I would be so happy. I would be so happy. But I mean, I guess it depends on where the Wizards fall with their own pick. Obviously we're the second worst team in the league right now. Shout out Utah for holding down that worst position in the league. But if we don't get, if we don't drop down, right, I think the only situation where the Wizards pick a big dude is picking Kaman Maluak from Duke. And that's if we fall to the 6th or 7th overall pick. I think otherwise, hopefully we get the number 1 pick. We take Cooper Flagg, but besides that, if we fall anywhere else in that range, we're probably taking Dylan Harper, Ace Bailey, Kasparas Yakuchonis, VJ Edgecombe, one of those guys, right? I don't think we would take Kaman Maluak unless we fall below, call it 5 or 6, right? But I could see him going at 5, but hopefully the Wizards get the number 1 overall pick. I'm really riding strong on that fact. But let's get back to Danny Wolf. The other thing I really noticed throughout the entire time that I was watching March Madness and watching Michigan with him specifically is that he's really a team player. He does not care about stats. He passes the ball extremely well. He can bring the ball up the court like a point guard, which is he is a mismatch for any player that's trying to guard him, right? And I think the main thing is he's got to get better at shooting, the NBA 3. And I think if he does that, he's going to be really unstoppable. He's going to be able to be plug and play to almost any type of set that a coach is trying to run. And I think his defense is not great, but he gets a lot of rebounds. And I think that's probably going to be his major contribution on the defensive end. And he gets offensive rebounds too, so that's also going to be a big plus for him, going into the league. But defense is definitely not his strongest suit. He puts a lot of effort in on the defensive end, though. So I will say it's not like he can't improve on that end, and I think he is going to improve. But right now it's his offensive skill set and his rebounding that really, is setting him apart, and just the overall versatility is what's setting him apart. So I'm a huge fan of this dude. I think this guy is going to be a sleeper in the draft. I think a lot more people know about him now, but I think he's gotta be a first round pick. If he's not, it's gonna be a steal in the second round. I think it's gonna be a steal if he goes past the lottery. That's just my opinion, but we'll see what happens. But I just think he has so many translatable skills to the league. He's going to find a niche, and I think that's at bare minimum. I think he's going to be a well-rounded player all around. He's going to be a starter in the NBA, I think. Maybe not at first, but after a couple of years, I think he's going to be a starter for sure. He also has experience with the Israeli national team. So, he knows international basketball. He won a silver medal in the 2023 FIBA U20 European Championship. And, it's just that this is an accomplished guy, in my opinion. And I think he's only grown over, the past, call it 3 years. And I think we're going to continue to see that development in the NBA wherever he gets picked. So I'm looking forward to seeing him in the league. It's going to be interesting to see how he performs at the draft combine, how he performs, going into individual team workouts, and, where he ultimately lands in the draft. It's going to be super interesting. I'm getting super hyped for the draft, guys. I've mentioned this before. Being a Wizards fan, the draft is the biggest part of our season the past couple of years. So I'm very excited. But let me know what you think about Danny Wolf. If you're a Michigan fan, let me know your thoughts on, the season and what you saw from Danny. And, as a general NBA fan, let me know what you think about his, NBA prospect. What do you think that he is going to be able to do at the next level? Do you think he has all-star potential? Do you think he's just a starter? Do you think he's a bench player? Let me know what you think he can accomplish at the next level. And that's all I got, guys. I'm going to catch you later. Stay safe, stay up, handle business, stand on business. Peace out.